that time period. For that time period of 12 months, he need to be completely remain in India, as well as for 11 of the previous 14 years. 11 years का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि क्या कहते हैं पूरा साल भर वहीं पे रहना होगा. It means that they they have to stay in India for 11 years, and they can move here and there according to their wishes. Okay, according to their wishes, but they will have to remain in India in majority part of the year. Means we have 365 days, so they have to remain in India more than 100 days. Okay, they have to remain in India for more than approx 100 days. So in this way, they need to remain in India for 11 years. And the last 14th year, the whole 12 months, they need to remain in India. The whole 12 months, they need to remain in India. What the act intends to do? What the act intends to do? The Citizenship Amendment Act 2018 aims to make changes in the Citizenship Act, Passport Act, and Foreigners Act. Passport Act and Foreigners Act, if the illegal migrants belong to the religious minority, belong to the religious minority communities from three neighboring countries of Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. Okay, communities from Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So features, simply put, Citizenship Amendment Act will grant illegal non-Muslim migrants the status of legal migrants despite them having come to India without valid documents. So what we were focusing, that illegal migrants are those who are not having legal documents. Those who are not having legal documents, they are considered to be the illegal migrants. But in Citizenship Amendment Act, all the peoples from the minority in Pakistan and Bangladesh and Afghanistan, if they have come to India without even valid document and permission, then also they will be granted the citizenship of India. Okay, the citizenship of India, although they are illegal migrants. Okay. Features of the CAA. The Act seeks to amend the Citizenship Amendment Act 1955 to make Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, Christian illegal migrant from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan eligible for citizenship of India. In other words, the Act intends to make it easier for non-Muslim immigrants from India's three Muslim minority neighbors to become citizens of India. Okay, the legislation applies to those who were forced or compelled to seek shelter in India due to the persecution on the ground of religion. Due to the persecution, मतलब उनका नरसंहार किया गया on the grounds of religion, on the grounds of Muslim religion, उनके साथ बहुत ज़्यादा अत्याचार हुए पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान और बांग्लादेश में. So that's why they are being provided shelter into India. It aims to protect such peoples from proceedings of illegal migrations. The amendment relaxes the requirements of naturalization from 11 years to 5 years. The amendment relaxes the requirement of naturalization from 11 years to 5 years. Okay, from 11 years to 5 years. Okay, as a specific condition for applicants belonging to these religions. The cutoff date for citizenship. Okay, 5 years. अगर ये 5 years रहते हैं ना, तो इनका भी लास्ट का जो ईयर होगा 12 month जो होंगे, वो इन्हें भी completely इंडिया में ही बिताने होंगे. ठीक है. The cutoff date for citizenship is December 31, 2014. और जो लोग दिसंबर 31, 2014 से पहले आ चुके हैं, सिर्फ और सिर्फ उन्हें ही CAA के अंडर उन्हें ही सिटीजनशिप ग्रांट करी जाएगी. अदरवाइज 2014 के बाद अगर कोई आने की सोच रहा है तो वो ना सोचे, बिकॉज इंडिया में आपको सिटीजनशिप नहीं मिलेगी. सो इट इज द बिगेस्ट मिसकंसेप्शन जो 2014 से पहले के लोग हैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ उन्हें ही सिटीजनशिप मिलेगी, सिर्फ और सिर्फ उन्हें ही सिटीजनशिप मिलेगी। 2014 मतलब बीजेपी के आने से पहले जो लोग आ चुके हैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ उन्हें ही कहते हैं सिटीजनशिप मिलेगी। बीजेपी के आने के बाद दैट इज इन 2014 उनके आने के बाद से जितने भी लोग आए हैं उन्हें कहते हैं सिटीजनशिप नहीं मिलेगी, ठीक है। which means the applicant should have entered India on or before that date. The act says that on acquiring citizenship, persons shall be deemed to be citizens of India from the date of their entry into India. From the date of entry into India, and all legal proceedings against them in respect of their illegal migrations or citizenship will be closed. Okay, this is, I have explained to you. It also says peoples holding overseas citizen of India OCI cards and immigration status permitting a foreign citizens of Indian origin to live and work in India indefinitely. To live and work in India, OCI, those who are holding OCI cards, okay, overseas citizens of India, so they can live in India indefinitely, because as you all know, these NRI and OCI peoples, they contribute immense of foreign currency into Indian territory. They contribute immense of foreign currency into Indian territory. That's why we are allowing NRIs and OCI, overseas citizens of India. Overseas citizens of India means that those who are not having any link to India, but their ancestors, मतलब उनके दादा परदादा belong करते थे इंडिया से, that's why they are considered to be the overseas citizens of India. Means they have the blood of Indian origin, not any relation to India, not any relation to India. Okay. OCI cards and immigration status permitting of a foreign citizens of Indian origin to live and work in India indefinitely can lose their status if they violate local laws for major and minor offenses and violations. So OCI card can only be violated if you commit the crime. Okay. Exception. The Act adds that the provisions on citizenship for illegal migrants will not apply. Illegal migrants will not apply to tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Tripura. So, Citizenship Amendment Act (CAA) will not be applied to Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Tripura, because here in these areas the tribal groups live. So the tribal groups shall not be interfered by any community. It is considered that tribal groups shall not be interfered by any community. Sorry, any community as included in 6th schedule of India. आपको अगर शेड्यूल्स याद करने हो ना, मैं आपको जब पॉलिटी पे आऊंगा ना, तो एक पोएम है, मतलब एसपी की शपथ लेकर राज्यसभा प्रतिनिधि अनुसूचित क्षेत्र 5 देखने चल दिए, वहां जनजाति की शक्ति और भाषा देख, संपत्ति पर कब्जा कर दल बदलना भूल गए, पंचायत और नगर पालिका 11 और 12 थे, देखते ही देखते हमको याद है उनको छिड़के। तो इस तरीके से एक पोएम है, उसके थ्रू मैं पूरे शेड्यूल्स को आपको एक छोटी सी, इतनी छोटी सी पोएम के थ्रू पूरे शेड्यूल्स, जो आप एक आईएएस एस्पिरेंट से जाके पूछ सकते हैं, उसे भी मतलब अच्छे से अच्छे किसी भी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में जाइए और उनसे जाके अगर आप पूछने लगेंगे ना कि ये शेड्यूल्स बताइए, ठीक है, तो उन्हें वो शेड्यूल्स नहीं बताओगे। अगर उनसे जाके क्या कहते हैं आप काफी सारे कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स में जाके अगर आप ये पूछने लगे कि मेडिवल डायनेस्टी के जो पांच डायनेस्टी हैं दिल्ली सल्तनत की, तो उन 5 डायनेस्टी का नाम बता दीजिए, तो उन्हें वो भी पता नहीं होते। आई डोंट थिंक, मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आता these coaching institute what they are doing with the students. They are not letting them learn by tricks. All they are doing just giving them notes, study by yourself, self study. Believe me, if you do the self study, you will get bored within one day. If you do the self study, you will get bored within one day. Either study from internet, either study from any other institute, or either study just keep in touch always. Just keep in touch always. So because if you don't keep in touch, one day will come in your life that you will feel like laziness, dizziness, like shall I do it, shall I not do it, आज नहीं करते, आज छोड़ देते हैं, ठीक है। अगर आपके पास एक कंटिन्यूटी नहीं है ना, कंटिन्यूटी हमेशा हमें किसी ना किसी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में जाके या किसी ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म पे, जस्ट लाइक मी, अगर आप सभी इमेजिन करोगे अपना फुल डे इमेजिन करना आज, ठीक है, अपना फुल डे इमेजिन करना कि आप सभी का फुल डे कैसे बीता है, ठीक है। अगर आप सभी फुल डे इमेजिन करोगे तो आपका सभी ज्यादातर का, मैं ये भरोसा दिला सकता हूँ, ज्यादातर का पूरा दिन खाली जाता होगा, like looking at the phone, looking at here and there. And in this 1.5 hours, you have studied immense. In this 1.5 hours, you have studied immensely. So we need to get in touch always. हमें हमेशा टच में रहना चाहिए, अदरवाइज आप सभी ने देखा होगा जैसे ही लोग मैरिड हो जाते हैं तो उसके बाद उनकी पढ़ाई क्यों छूट जाती है, बिकॉज दे आर नॉट इन टच, they are not in touch to the studies, although they can understand still yet. दरअसल क्या है कि कुछ टीचर्स ये बोल देते हैं कि अब उसकी शादी हो गई तो उसका ध्यान भटक गया। नहीं, उसका ध्यान नहीं भटका है, उसका जो स्टडी में टच था ना, मतलब स्टडीज के साथ जो एक लिंक था वो छूट गया है, because he or she get involved in the family. So involvement in the family doesn't means that you should avoid what my internet connection is unstable. Okay, so you should always get in touch with the studies. Okay, so next is India will okay, these tribal areas include Karbi Anglong in Assam. Just write these tribes name on your copy. These tribal areas include Karbi Anglong in Assam, Karbi Anglong in Assam, Garo Hills in Meghalaya, Garo Hills in Meghalaya, Chakma district in Mizoram, Tripura tribal areas district, Tripura tribal areas district. Okay, it will not apply to the areas under the inner line permit. Inner line permit under Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation 1873. Okay, 1873 inner line permit means basically inner line permit का मतलब क्या रखा गया है कि ये ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में वैलिड ही नहीं होगा। जितने भी हमारे ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स हैं वहां पे कोई भी रिसोर्सेज यूटिलाइज नहीं कर पाएगा, ठीक है। ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स विल हैव the feasibility of its own resources. Okay, they can utilize their own resources, no one else can touch their resources. Okay, India will never be a part of an alliance system. Jai Shankar. Non-aligned movement is an old concept today, but India will never be a part of an alliance system, according to the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Speaking about the consequences of global shift, including the United States and assertiveness of China, he said they were opening spaces for middle powers like India, Japan, the European Union, and others. India must now take more risk as the world expected it to take more proactive stance on the big issues of the day. Big issues of the day. India is being provided seats in many of the United Nations organizations. Okay, nowadays role of India is increasing immensely in this time of COVID-19. We have seen this. The role of India has increased very immensely. Okay, including connectivity, maritime security, terrorism, climate change, and terrorism. Value-added information. What is non-aligned movement? Non-aligned movement is an idea that emerged in 1950s, and NAM is the second largest platform globally in terms of country membership after the United Nations. It currently has more than 120 members. It currently has 120 members. Okay, more than 120 members. The evolution of NAM. During 1950s, the world was emerging out of the long dark period of colonialism by Britishers and French peoples. Okay, newly independent nations dreamed they could uh, make their way in this new world without having to either of big powers, the United States and Soviet Union, uh, issuing the icy hostilities. दरअसल क्या था कि ये दो big power थी, and all other small countries were the colonies of Britishers. All other small countries were the colonies of Britishers. So they are new emerging economies, new emerging countries. So new emerging economies and new emerging countries. So that's why they thought that we need support of someone. Otherwise, if you start your own business, then start independently always. Start independently always, and then try to get in touch with others. Otherwise, if you uh, take the support of someone else, then he will always dominate you. He will always dominate you that you should not do this, you should not do this. Okay. So newly independent nations dreamed they could become they could make their way in this new world without having to either of the big powers, the United States and Soviet Union, issuing the icy hostilities of Cold War, and back in the warmth of Third World, as it was Third World War, as it was known, cooperation. The co-founders were India's Jawaharlal Nehru, Indonesia's Sukarno, Egypt's Jamal Abdel Nasser, Yugoslavia Joseph Broz Tito, Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah were all figures of international consequences, and their collective charisma attracted lesser lights from around the world. Okay. So the Asian African Conference of 1955 held in Bandung was the catalyst of the establishment of the non-aligned movement. The actual formation took place in Belgrade, where the non-aligned movement was formally established by leaders of 25 developing countries in 1961. Why is it losing relevance today? Criticism. Why non-aligned movement is losing relevance today? Okay. Non-aligned movement, because all the countries now have emerged as not aligned towards India or Russia. After 1990s, we have seen that no country now fully dependent on USA or Russia. Now the world has become globalized. Globalization has come in the world, so that's why NAM is losing its important. Non-aligned movement is losing its important because the whole world now has become NAM. Actually, okay. NAM today has grown into forum where developing nations could blame all their problems on the big powers. It has become a platform for some of the world's most despicable leaders to preen and posture. NAM's reason to exist ended in 1989 with the collapse of Soviet Union. With the collapse of Soviet Union and the end of Cold War, the world was left with a single superpower, the US, but quickly became multipolar, with China and India emerging strong magnetic forces in their own right. Okay, China and India has also become major economies in the world. Iran to continue work with India on Chahbar line. रेलवे चीफ ने ये बात बोली है, ठीक है. In the latest twist to Iran's Chahbar Zahedan railway project, देखो हम इतने लंबे टाइम से इसे पढ़ते आ रहे हैं और हमने पूरा डेवलपमेंट पढ़ा कि किस तरीके से चाइना ने ईरान को फोकस करा, और ईरान ने फिर इंडिया पे सैंक्शन लगाए, फिर इंडिया ने क्या कहते हैं यूएसए को थोड़ा बहुत छोड़ना चाहा, और इंडिया ने ये भी बात करी कि यूनाइटेड नेशन की जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है उन्हें अपने आप में सुधार करना चाहिए, ठीक है. तो ये सब चीजें जो है ना एक तरीके से मिक्स वेब होती हैं, और हमें इसे की डेवलपमेंट करना पड़ता है बहुत अच्छे तरह के. देखो सब कुछ लिंक्ड है आपस में, इंटरनेशनल, all the international relations are linked towards each other. Okay. In the latest twist to Iran's Chahbar Zahedan railway project, Iran's railway minister said Iran and India are determined to continue cooperation with railway line. The remarks contradict Iranian officials who had previously said India was not the part of the project. Considering the history of cooperation between the two countries and the existing potentials and capacities, Iran and India are determined to continue their cooperation in the field of the rail transport, especially Zahedan-Chhabra Railway, because the development of cooperation between the two countries in this areas. Okay, outstanding issues. When asked why India had not been a part of the inauguration, the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson had said that Thursday that India had not heard back from Iran on a request to finalize the outstanding technical and financial issues since December 2019. Okay, so that's why we were not the part of it. We were not the part of legal ceremony, but India will continue the project. So it is unclear whether Monday's meeting means there has been some progress in the issues pending since this last December, and whether India will now sign an agreement with the Iranian government to take projects forward. The Ministry of External Affairs and Iranian embassy in Delhi declined to make any further comments to the new development. Meanwhile, another Iranian official also said last week that India was not the part of inauguration as it had not signed Chhabra-Zahedan rail agreement despite a previous 2016 memorandum of understanding (MOU). Okay, between Iranian Railway Infrastructure Company CDTIC and Indian Railway Construction Company IRCON. When asked about the decision to go ahead alone, Iranian diplomatic officials had cited Indian delays and the impact of US sanctions. Okay, tough new e-commerce rules kick in next week. The e-commerce portals will have to set up a robust consumer redressal mechanism as part of the rules under the Consumer Protection Act CPA 2019 key points. The Protection E-commerce Rule 2020, which fall under the Consumer Protection Act, will be notified within a few days. The e-commerce entities will have to provide every detail relating to return, refund, exchange, warranty, and guarantee, delivery and shipment, modes of payments, grievance and redressal mechanism, payment methods, security of payment methods, chargeback options, and so on. They will also have to mention the country of origin. So in new e-commerce rule, they will have to mention either it is made in China or made in India. Okay, they will have to mention it. They will have to mention country of origin, which necessary for enabling the consumer to make an informed decision at the pre-purchase stage on its platform. The e-commerce platform also have to acknowledge the receipt of any consumer complaints within 48 hours and redress the complaint within 1 month from date of receipt under this act, and will also have to appoint a grievance officer for consumer grievance redressal. For consumers grievance redressal. So these rules are mandatory and not merely advisories as issued earlier. So we will study it. Make the right call on Malabar going quad. Okay, Malabar के बारे में आप सभी को मैंने बताया था. India, Japan, Australia, and USA. Now we are focusing on Australia to include it into the Indians Malabar naval exercises. Naval exercises basically means they will the battleship will perform the naval exercises, that firing the guns, firing the tanks, and firing the weapons. Okay, as you all must have seen the Battleship movie, you will get what is naval exercise from that movie. It will be fully clear to all of you. Okay, Battleship में भी naval exercise दिखाई गई. Okay. There have been reports that India could soon invite Australia to join the Malabar naval exercises to be held later in 2020. According to the reports, a key meeting of India's Ministry of Defence discussed the issue of adding Australia to the trilateral Malabar naval exercise with Japan and the United States in the Bay of Bengal. The move include Australia would work would mark a major shift for India's Indo-Pacific plans. Inclusion of Australia would make it the first time since 2007 that all members of Quad will participate in a joint military drill and apparently at China. So apparently at China. What are major concerns? The articles argues that the benefit or gains for India in the strategic operational realm would be limited as compared to the cost of participating in quadrilateral engagement. New conflict point. China has long opposed Quad coalition, and the Chinese leadership sees that maritime quadrilateral as an ASEAN NATO that seeks only contain China's rise. Okay. At the time of strained bilateral ties with China, India's intention to involve Australia in the Malabar drill could only be uh, construed as a move directed against China. At a time when India and China are negotiating a truce on the border, So we are cooperating with China on the border issues. Malabar exercise sends contrary signals to China. Contrary signals means that someone is performing against you. So they will try to perform some naval exercise against India also. So China would view the move by India as a pressure tactic on China and a move aimed at expanding India's sphere of influence into the entire Indian Ocean and the South Pacific. जब चाइना साउथ चाइना सी को अपने नाम से रिकॉग्नाइज कर सकता है तो व्हाई नॉट इंडिया कैन नॉट रिकॉग्नाइज इंडियन ओशन टू बी द part of India. So China will suffer, definitely suffer. This move could invite retaliatory moves by China. China could reopen through aggressive posturing in the Eastern Indian Ocean, which could lead to the opening of a new front in the India-China conflict. Modest gain. India's priority for Indian Ocean region is to acquire strategic capabilities to counter a Chinese naval presence in the Indian Ocean. Though India possesses airborne surveillance capability, the Indian Navy is yet to develop undersea capability to deter Chinese submarines in the Eastern Indian Ocean. U.S. defense companies have been hesitant to part with proprietary technology related to vital anti-submarine warfare technology. Cooperation with the US and Japan without attendant benefit of strategic technology transfer will not improve Indian Navy's deterrence potential in the Indian Ocean region, IOR. Okay, so you can read about it completely in your notes. I will send you. What are the counter arguments? Many Indian defense and strategic issues experts have welcomed the development, hailing it's a long time overdue move. Some experts have argued that rational for a quarter and perhaps the inclusion of more nations in future Malabar exercise has never been stronger. Okay, so Malabar exercise जो इतनी stronger समझे जाते हैं, अगर हम nations को ऐड करते चले जाएंगे तो इसमें थोड़ा सा इशू ये जनरेट करता है कि इसकी इतनी पावर नहीं रह पाएगी फिर, ठीक है, बिकॉज कोऑपरेशन हमेशा चुनिंदा देशों में ही होता है. तो ये आइडियोलॉजी है, अलग अलग आइडियोलॉजी है, इसके बारे में हमें ज्यादा फोकस नहीं करना है. चाइनीज प्रेजेंस इन IOR. China has also been involved in deployments exercises and military hardware relationships with an increasing number of nations in the Indo-Afro-Pacific, which can neither be ignored nor left barefoot of countermeasures. Chinese research and intelligence ship presence close to Andaman Island has relatively expanded. Okay, that Sea Pearl project of China I have shown you, all of you. Okay, so in this way China is also developing in its influence into Indian Ocean region. Okay, so it will try to oppose India. Conclusion. So basically हम इसका conclusion देखते हैं. there is need for careful thought on India's move with respect to quadrilateral engagement. India should reflect on the strategic rationale of the military quad. Strategic rationale of the military quad. There should be a cost benefit exercise, and any move should lead to the commensurate gains in the strategic operational realm for India. In the strategic operational realm for India. That's all for the day. I hope today's class is very big. Who else left? Railways left. So this was big class. Thank you all. Now it's the time to sleep for everyone.